radical black racist. Let's just say that. Okay, it's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't that one.
Right.
Right. So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them, or who ain't black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say his name? We don't need too much clout. The FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broken is. Just keeping it across. Their shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this who run them? Like, your niggas though. You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity-doo.
In addition to their breakup, Remy Ma and Papoose's bond is growing stronger. Really, what's going on? For years, we will analyze it. Papa's new lover is causing even more chaos with her bold actions, and Fat Joe has been sucked into the drama. After deciding to build something greater than Remy Ma, Fat Joe, who was already well known in the hip-hop industry, became like family. The late 1990s marked the beginning of their relationship. Once only a band, Terror Squad evolved into a gang that made brilliant musicians feel at home. Joe felt Remy could dominate the rap game because he had a fire spirit and raw talent, so he was one of the first guys he brought in. However, their connection was never simply business. Joe loved her like a sister over the years, remaining by her side through every high. He signed her, mentored her, and gave her the stage to flourish. And lo, showing their unwavering connection, but now things have taken a shocking turn. Papoose, according to Remy's spouse, who has been trying to end their marriage for a while, Remy has been unfaithful to him for years. He has made some startling accusations. Not only is he inciting conflict, but his girlfriend Clarissa Shields is also accused of threatening Remy, which makes matters worse.
Right? And he admits it. This ain't me talking me on his back. Drugs fucked him up. You know what's crazy is, in this hip-hop game, Fat Joe really is the dog. What I mean to tell you is, people don't disrespect me and do crazy shit for me. So whenever I went to hang out with Scott Storch, because he's my brother, they wouldn't use no drugs, they wouldn't sniff no cocaine, they wouldn't do nothing. Scott Storch told me that the second I would walk out that door, a kilo of cocaine to come running.
And it becomes even trickier. In recent text chats that Remy provided screenshots of, Papoose and professional boxer Clarissa Shields seemed to be chatting. She even made reference to a significant revelation related to the release of her upcoming movie, implying that Shields is warning Papoose to take immediate action on a matter that would cause publicity problems. Remy claims that Papoose physically beat her and threatened to divulge private information, in addition to the allegations that he bullied her and even tried to call the police. This betrayal raises questions among fans about the already precarious position. For retaliation and response, Papoose vehemently disputed these allegations, but he continued to accuse Remy of infidelity. He also revealed that she spent Christmas 2023 with her purported lover EA, which further exacerbated the situation. A photo of Remy and Easy that Papoose shared over the holidays stoked even more rumors as this conflict develops. Joe's name has been pulled into the tangle, and his long-standing friendship with Remy is now being questioned as many wonder how these complex links will impact their closeness. As of right now, there are no clear answers on Remy Ma's fate or the fate of everyone else caught in the crossfire. The drama is still playing out. One thing is certain though, Papoose couldn't forget this story just yet, even if he wanted to. His only memory is of the heated confrontation with battle rapper Easy. At first glance, it appeared courteous and harmless. Easy had confidently shaken Papoose's hand, a small gesture that conveyed honor, trust, friendship, and weight. Nevertheless, the subsequent events rocked the world. Easy had slept with Papoose's wife, crossing a boundary that could not be erased by a handshake. Papoose found the betrayal that followed that show of respect to be more significant than the act itself. I kept him up since he had a sexual relationship with mine. After he shook my hand and slept with my wife, Papoose admitted in a rare moment of candor that I had knocked him out. He believed it was about principles, and EA had killed it right away. Remy was also not holding back, posting in a frenzy more text messages between Papoose and Clarissa Shields. During their storm, Shields was publicly ridiculed by the faux boxer, who called her stupid for forgetting about Papoose. She did not, however, stop there. To brag about her own achievements, she said, "I'm the one making money, not Papoose." He refused to keep quiet and responded by accusing Remy of years of recurrent infidelity. As the drama develops, it becomes clear how deeply hurt and betrayed Remy is, as seen by his narcissistic decision to cheat repeatedly and his tone being heavy with anguish and tiredness. So that everyone could see a story of love, trust, and heartache that became a public dispute with no clear end in sight for Papoose. But it was the impact on their kid that was the real agony, not just the infidelity. For as long as possible, he had kept his pain and shielded her from the chaos. But when things became out of control, Remy was unfazed and wrote off Papoose's charges as the bitterness of a guy trying to harm her name. It increased the tension since, while it was a show of strength to her fans, it was perceived as haughtiness by others. It was not just a case of love gone wrong. Their battle was one of pride, hurt, and OS, and there was no place for regret. As this was going on, their public feud garnered media attention, splitting their fan base, and the ensuing rupture between them became a spectacle, with each new accusation escalating the conflict. Those who backed Papoose admired his integrity and honesty, while Remy's supporters commended her courage and viewed her unapologetic demeanor as proof of her fortitude. Others charged that she was drawing attention to their private issues. The world now knew every unpleasant detail about their parents, and their daughter was trapped in the thick of it all. Deteriorating link, despite the heavy weight of everything, the intoxication only grew worse. At last, Papoose let his rage out in a post that seemed to be his departure, writing, "She's playing the victim." He revealed that he had frequently asked for a divorce, but that his attempts at private solutions had been turned down because he was tired of the public arguments that never seemed to end. He stated she'd rather clout chase on social media than sit down and handle this like adults. According to him, social media wasn't only petty to Papoose, it was harmful, and he witnessed the negative effects it was having on his daughter, who was 6 years old and forced to grow up in the shadow of. There was a deeper reality to her family's hardships hidden under the public commotion. Their story exposed the intricacies of love and the anguish of losing someone you once had complete faith in, and it wasn't just about egos or treachery. In their situation, the scales had sadly swung in favor of heartache. In the distance, the silent, resilient presence of an old tree that had deep roots and remained sturdy in the face of storms appeared to reflect their difficulties. A simple fact was whispered: acceptance is the first step toward healing and growth. It is possible to confront the past, even if it is erased, whether Papoose and now their narrative was not only about a broken marriage or betrayal. It was a call to perseverance, healing, and moving on. Whether Remy was able to hear that call or not, their world went on, and the drama between Papoose Rai and all the other characters kept happening. I wanted this to be a social media circus for my daughter's sake. Only time would tell if Remy would manage to escape the mayhem or find a way out. Papoose said angrily, "She has to go to school and deal with this," and I silently listened to her the whole time. Signified the weight he had been bearing to protect his child from the consequences of each reply, and things only got worse, acting as a constant reminder of the tenuous ties that bound them all together. Shields, who was always quick to take advantage of situations, did a good job of showcasing her career throughout the boiling dispute. On Christmas Day, the fire inside a local theater goes out, and she crafted a smooth transition to promote her next battle for more heavyweight titles, which is set for February 2nd in Flint, Michigan. This was a strategic move that highlighted her career by using the drama as a launchpad. Achievements during the She was mocked by her critics, but Shields wasn't done. She made fun of Remy by announcing a parody announcement that paired Clarissa Shields against the real Rama in a since-deleted tweet. On February 2nd, come experience a whooped crash. She reveled in their absurdity and framed their argument as though it were a boxing fight, her humor biting. Shields appeared to take pleasure in exploiting the mayhem as fodder for her clever repartee, focusing on herself while resolving the conflict. In addition, she introduced more heat. Shields while pointing out what she saw to be irregularities in Remy's actions. What if a woman has two? A man who has a girlfriend is resented by his boyfriend. Regarding the tangled charges against Papoose, she wrote, "Why in the hell are you tagging me if I'm not the only one?" With her scathing remarks, she positioned herself as someone who was only caught in the crossfire of a convoluted and conflicting circumstance. Ruby, who was never one to back down, responded with fire, claiming that Papoose had attacked Shields in private by stating, "I've never seen you because you're ugly." Shields' self-esteem was supposed to be damaged and her reputation publicly discredited by the personal attack, but Remy went farther. In a later article, she disclosed a personal and humiliating detail, charging Papoose with dozing off while resting in Shields' house and talking on the phone. "While sleeping in my residence, this idiot slept off while speaking with Clarissa Shields on the phone." She wrote, "This is supposed to be a world champion boxer, but he won't leave." Even as she was successful professionally, her disdain was clear, making Shields appear desperate. For the most part, her public remarks suggested that the insults had stopped. She then reaffirmed her narrative that she wouldn't allow the pandemonium to bring her down, emphasizing her career, her concentration on her upcoming battle, and her ability to rise above the drama, pain, and love she had written. Media blew up. Moving on and focusing on his daughter was all Papoose wanted, but the unrelenting attention made that seem impossible. As the days stretched into weeks, the stream moved away from its original focus and became more about pride, ego, and the need to move on, rather than the original problems. After awakening, fans and followers made the feud a public spectacle. The arguments were heated, with some people siding with Remy. Prevailed, each subsequent post gave a story that had already spun out of control more dimension. It was a reminder that private conflicts can quickly become public spectacles, turning agony into entertainment that the world can watch and judge. Who, if anyone, would get out of this with their dignity intact remained a mystery, and for Remy, Shields, and Papoose, the future seemed anything but certain. A maritime tale about love, treachery, and the perils of allowing personal conflicts to unfold in public. It was entangled in a web of accusations and miscommunications. This was one story that was not going to be forgotten anytime soon. As the drama progressed, viewers were curious about Fat Joe's feelings. Given the gang affiliation suspicions and Joe's intense devotion to Remy Ma, it appeared that his name was intimately linked to the mayhem. In the streets, Fat Joe has long been revered. Even legendary figures like 50 Cent and Tony Yayo have acknowledged this. These guys don't just say nice things. One of them labeled Joe the real deal, and even 50 Cent, who has had beefs with Joe in the past, admitted that Joe commanded tremendous respect. Courtesy on the streets reluctantly acknowledging Joe's credibility, which is based on both his music and his life experiences. This is more than simply industry jargon. Joe's street tread was all about surviving and flourishing in a harsh environment, not just about rapping. His name has always been associated with gang war shootouts and being the head of the terror squad. He is accused of embellishing for attention, yet influential people in the field usually back up his claims, which enhances his reputation. Even more fascinating is the complexity of Joe's street reputation. Some insiders believe his links were wider than most people realized, potentially going beyond local gangs to influential, enigmatic people in the Bronx and beyond. Were there people working behind the scenes, or was Joe merely a gifted rapper influenced by his surroundings, or was he engaged in a far more ambitious game that extended well beyond music? Even though many rappers lie to get attention, Joe's past seems like an unspoken secret that very few people are willing to talk about in public. Could Joe have been actively contributing to Bronx street culture rather than merely living it? There are allegations that Joe survived the shooting and that he was not only involved in music feuds, but also in revenge that entailed actual street-level tricks. Then the speculations get unmanageable. According to certain rumors, Joe was nearly untouchable due to his profound influence. Allegations of corruption and unsubstantiated but fascinating rumors suggest that he had influence over people even law enforcement wouldn't bother. Untrustworthy transactions and connections to global criminal organizations. Could this be the reason Joe has escaped serious legal issues in spite of the turmoil and controversies? Whether they are unquestionable facts or inflated stories, Joe's name is significant not only in hip-hop, but also in fields that most of us are unaware of. The uncertainty surrounding his history feeds the argument about who he truly is, a product of his surroundings, a force in them. Fat is homeless, or perhaps a combination of both. Was it pure luck that Joe remained so prominent in the music industry and on the streets, or was he playing a game so well planned that even his competitors couldn't keep up? His longevity, according to some admirers, is no accident. It has been suggested that Joe's notoriety was more than just hype, even by 50 Cent, who had one of the most well-known feuds with him in the early 2000s. Despite their heated argument and back-and-forth rap, there was an implicit respect between them. 50 Cent admitted that he didn't like Joe, but he couldn't dispute the respect and allegiance he garnered on the streets. He even compared Joe's fluency to some, saying that New York subway people hated Fat Joe and the terror squad as much as I did, despite the fact that I never extorted anyone or bullied anyone. It says volumes that 50 Cent even reluctantly acknowledged Joe's dominance. Respect like this wasn't just talk. Joe earned it on the streets, where his name was taken seriously, as well as in the music industry. This influence could be a major problem for Papoose, admirers say.